Yonkers, what a nice place. You got the Sawmill River in Getty Square. Yes, you do. Lots of good stuff in Yonkers. Yeah. Riverdale Avenue in Yonkers. Yonkers, New York. It's a good New York City. It's so close to Manhattan. It's like you're part of the borough. Some people say Yonkers is borough number 6. Some people say Yonkers is its own place. I say Yonkers is a wonderful land. It's a central city. It's the land of Hudson. It's Yonkers. It's Yonkers. New York. It's the city of hills. It's Yonkers.
Good afternoon, folks. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Today, I want to talk about a few things. What's been happening here in the city of Yonkers? It's your lunch break, news break. How have you all been? Happy Monday, Freddie Vasquez. That's a wild scene there in Getty Square, but that's the way things have been going in that area. What you saw there was a man wielding a large kitchen knife, attempting to stab another man. Unfortunately, he was successful, wasn't caught on camera, but now a 21-year-old is being charged with attempted murder here in the city of Yonkers. Good afternoon, I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. The violence continues in Yonkers. The violence continues. Another man stabbed another 21-year-old black male being charged with attempted murder. But that's not the only thing going on. There was also a man found shot dead in a parking lot on Highland. That's District 3, Tasha Diaz, who's up for re-election. Fatal shooting, victim found in parking garage in Hudson Valley, suspect at large. The victim was found on Friday evening, July 28th, around 6:30 p.m., when Yonkers police discovered an unconscious man lying underground of a parking garage behind an apartment building at 73 Highland. When first responders began giving medical aid to the man, they found that he had suffered a gunshot wound to his side and rushed him to local area hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The authorities have not released his name yet. Detectives from the Yonkers Police Department's Major Case Squad, Crime Scene Unit, and Digital Forensics Units are now investigating and have not made any arrest. And this comes just less than a week after a man was shot over on Ashburn and Nepperhan Avenue at the Shell gas station over there by Whitney Young, 354. That man survived. Fortunately, you can check him out on the Yonkers Voice. If you want to see all the victims, you can go onto the Yonkers Voice. He'll show you their faces so family members can see their loved ones, in that condition. So I don't know, what are Yonkers police doing to stop this shooting, the stabbings? A lot's going on. And in fact, that stabbing in Getty Square, they try to keep that one quiet because Ruros did not put that video up. That video was sent to me by residents of the city of Yonkers who want to make sure that people are aware of what's going on, right? And the reason for that is because that guy in the Yonkers Voice will do what the city says, and the city doesn't want you really seeing all of this stuff. And it's not like these individuals were people that have loved ones or are known, so it's not going to make a lot of noise. So we can keep that one quiet. We can try to do that, right? But I want you guys to see exactly what's happening, so I share the videos. I will not share people getting shot, people lying on the floor, dying, bleeding to death. I will not do that. But please send me the videos if you have them. I will edit them. politicwithfred@gmail.com. Again, it's politicwithfred@gmail.com. So send me all the videos. I'll post them up. I don't hide things. I don't try to manipulate what's really happening here in the city of Yonkers. All right, so we keep it honest here. Let's move on to politics. This is what we are all about, basement politics, right? And guess what? Democratic donors, police, and Jewish groups wooing Latimer to run against Jamal Bowman. Oh, man. Now, what's that about? They have been trying to take out Jamal Bowman right now since the last election when they pitted Vedad Gashi up against Jamal Bowman. They were not successful. However, Vedad Gashi is now the chair of the Westchester County Board of Legislators. And so here we have George Latimer possibly being the guy that they're going to now use to take out Jamal Bowman. That's why Bowman hasn't really been in Yonkers, right? Bowman, his office is in Mount Vernon. Mount Vernon is largely a Black community ran by Black officials. So he stayed over there ever since, the whole incident, the whole racism incident with Mike Spano and the Yonkers NAACP and other African-American groups here in the city of Yonkers and in Westchester who called on Mike Spano to apologize for comments that he made in regards to Bowman being arrested. Bowman was opposing a certain legislation that was being discussed over in D.C., and Mayor Spano gave a comment on it. He said that Bowman should be arrested for the way he was deciding, or his opinion or his feelings on this certain legislation. And so many African-American community groups and organizations like the NAACP were upset with that. They said the mayor, Mike Spano, was weaponizing the police against a Black man. I didn't find it to be racist. I get what he was saying, but we were in a time where things were touchy. I think we're still there. We had the whole, what's the guy's name that was killed in Minneapolis, I believe? George Floyd. You had the BLM protest. But they calling the man a racist after he allowed them to draw and paint the BLM sign and logo down South Broadway in front of City Hall. And now the Black community is shrinking. It's even smaller now. It was only at 19%. Now it's probably about 15%. But they are very effective. They are very effective. So I didn't agree with that. I didn't think he was being racist there. I think that the mayor, especially very recently, his administration has been pandering to the Black community as well as to the Hispanic, and I'll get into that in a second. But I think this is all about taking out Jamal. Who will be the next county executive? That's probably going to be Ken Jenkins. Remember, Ken Jenkins endorsed Mayor Mike Spano. People said that there was a deal made. If Ken Jenkins endorsed Mike Spano would not challenge him. Any Yonkers Democrats would not challenge Ken Jenkins. And I hear also there's jobs being promised. That's just what I heard. I don't know. Last week, we reported on Congressman Jamal Bowman's comments about the police shooting in New Rochelle of Jarrell Garris. Rep. Bowman, who represents more than half of Westchester in the 16th district, called the shooting police brutality, sparking outrage among police organizations. Bowman also recently announced that he would not be attending the address of Israel President Isaac Herzog to Congress. In a statement, Bowman writes, "My decision to not attend in no way stems from a lack of support for the existence of the state of Israel." He's got to be very clear. You have to make sure that if you are wanting to be in politics, especially at the national level as a congressman, you have to support Israel. And I can show you clips upon clips of our elected officials, U.S. elected officials, swearing an allegiance to Israel over America. I'm not going to go on. You can read that. I'll post it. I basically just want to let you know what's going on, what's being talked about. Democratic donors, police, and Jewish groups wooing Latimer to run against Bowman. This is all about getting Bowman out. Bowman, they're coming for you. Watch your back, homie. Be careful what you say about Israel. That's a powerful group. Anyway, moving on, folks. Let's talk about housing. Am I having issues with my internet? Please let me know if my internet, for whatever reason. Some groups in Yonkers are more successful at others at stopping developments from going up. In fact, very few have been successful, if any, until now. One group have been successful in stopping a development going up near Lake Avenue. The Lake Avenue Community Association, led by President Steve Simpson, a very involved and active member of the Yonkers Democratic Party here in the city, and he was very supportive and part of Tim Hodges' campaign when he ran against Anthony Moranti. Well, he led the charge. He led this group of community members over at Lake Avenue in protest of this development that was going to go up. And guess what? They were successful. Now, if you don't know, Steve Simpson is not an orange man. He doesn't belong to the Simpson family on TV. He is a white man. Again, he is also very involved and very active in the Yonkers Democratic Party. And he was successful in stopping this development from going up. Developers withdraw 177-unit rental plan, withdraws application for 11 ordinances at ZBA meeting after residents, community groups speak out. Look at that. A proposed, and this should be a good example and something that people should use who are protesting other developments, and I'll get into that. A proposed development of 177 units, apartment tower, Glenwood Hill Manor, has been halted after significant opposition to the project. Significant opposition to the project from community groups and neighborhood associations. The proposed development called for the construction of a 14-story multi-family building with 10 floors, being 177 affordable residential units and 4 levels of parking, providing 138 parking spaces of the required 271. So they got a variance, right? And that's what a lot of developers have been getting at the zoning board and planning board. They've been getting these allowances, right? Or they've been allowed to bypass certain requirements. So here they're going to put only 138 park, or they were. All right. Anyway, the place was supposed to be located at 273, 297 Glenwood Avenue, 146 Lake Avenue, and 164 Lake Avenue, fronting on both Father Finian, Sullivan Drive, and Somerville Place. The developers, Lemore Development Group, Lemore, LLC, and Empire Development Capital Holding, had applied for 11 variances. So they applied for 11, they wanted to like bypass requirements, right? 11 different requirements. These developers are just crazy, right? They don't follow any rules. They've been changing all the rules, the zoning laws, right? They've been going higher and higher and higher, right? And they've been putting buildings in smaller and smaller areas and spaces. They've been allowed to have less parking. They've been allowed to bypass the setback regulations. They're just going buck wild over there at the zoning and planning board with these developers, right? The application was on the agenda for the Yonkers Zoning Board of Appeals at their July 19th meeting. Steve Simpson, president of the Lake Avenue Community Association, gives us a good summary in an email he sent out. Both Simpson and the Lake Ave Community Association were instrumental in getting the word out about the concerns of many other residents and community groups. Project withdrawn from the Zoning Board of Appeals. Our association and community partners, including the North Yonkers Preservation, were successful in communicating the reasons why the proposed project would be harmful to us. Over the past 5 months, we've submitted hundreds of letters and signatures. Again, submitted hundreds of letters and signatures on petitions in opposition. We rallied and spoke at a number of times before the Zoning Board of Appeals, and on July 19th, we arranged for transportation to City Hall for 14 seniors so they would have an opportunity to speak. Our council majority leader, Tasha Diaz, attended our July 18th meeting, community meeting, expressed her support for our community and assured that she would stand with us. As promised, we appeared before the ZBA on July 19th with dozens of residents, 14 of whom were seniors, ready to voice their opposition to the project and respectfully communicate our association's concern. At the beginning of the hearing, we were informed by Chairwoman Wilson Kimball, that the zoning board had denied a request from the developer that the hearing be adjourned until September. Then she read a letter from the developer's attorney received after 4 p.m. stating that the applicants will not appear tonight and hereby withdraw the ZBA application for area variances bearing case number 5809. The chairwoman then announced that the ZBA would no longer hear the case. I am humbled by the support received in this campaign from association members, our partners, and those living within our community. Everyone on the ground team was terrific as they knocked on doors, talked about the project with neighbors, collected letters, and spoke at ZBA meetings. In rejecting this project, I believe we have sent the message to future developers of projects involved to involve us when planning projects in our community, writes Steve Simpson. All right, so Steve Simpson was successful in getting this project stopped. He listed the reasons why. He had a bunch of people show up to meetings. Now, what about the minority folks over on Woodworth Ave that are going to have the 232-story towers built in front of their homes. What about them? They've been fighting, they've been opposing, they've been attending meetings, and they have not really been heard. And it doesn't seem like they care about them. And again, is it because it is largely a black community? You see what I'm saying? Racism does exist here in the city of Yonkers. Steve Simpson, not I'm saying he's a bad guy, but he's very involved politically. He's connected. He's part of the Democratic Party here in the city of Yonkers, very active in a lot of campaigns, and including that of Tasha Diaz. And it's surprising how Tasha Diaz, a black woman, will always support the white people, but will never support her own people. That's fucking sad to me. That's a damn shame. And that is the reason why all of the Hispanics and blacks in her district should vote her ass out. Everything she does, it does not benefit or goes against the interest of blacks and Hispanics. And not that I'm saying that this isn't something that she should have helped out with. I'm glad that they got what they wanted. I'm sure they had a good reason and it's legit. But there are others that are also opposing developments that are not getting help from elected officials, that are not having the same success, that are not being heard. And is it because they are Hispanic and black? Woodworth Ave, over there, the folks who are protesting that's led by a Hispanic woman, a Latina. Most of the residents there are African American, and they have been demolishing that entire area, pushing mostly black people out. Where are the black elected officials that represent that area? Where are the black elected officials that represent black people and as a whole? You see what I'm saying? This identity politics things don't work. Look what happened to Chris Johnson. He supports the black people to get in office, and then they don't support him when he's being thrown under the bus, when his livelihood is at stake. A black man. Where are the black elected officials that he once supported? Why are our minority black and Latino elected officials never there to support their own people? They kiss ass to every other group, but they don't do shit for their own people. And so now, will the people who are opposing the development on Woodworth, those 32-story towers that will stick out like a sore thumb, that will create so much chaos in their community by their homes, because they are homeowners over there, will they be successful like Steve Simpson and the Lake Avenue Community Association? Will Wilson Kimball be on their side? Will Tasha, Shanae be on the side of the black and Latinos who are also opposing the developments that are destroying their communities and kicking them out? I would like to see if they are successful. I would love to see this, because it's amazing how Steve Simpson, and nothing against him, a white man, can lead the charge and be successful. Man that's connected to elected officials, very close. But here you have our Latinos, our Hispanics, blacks over here on Northwest Yonkers, where they're just demolishing everything, forcing people out, forcing businesses closed, being ignored. No support from elected officials. Actually, Chris Johnson, who is no longer going to be an elected official, was supporting. Where's Shanae? And where's Tasha? Those are her people. So we have to stop this identity politics stuff, right? I love how they said Tasha Diaz was so supportive of that. I love it, because a lot of the seniors there, and she goes to that senior building right there on Glenwood, I think it is, or wherever, by Orchard. She goes up in there, and there's like two of them right there that she goes in there to make sure that she gets her votes. So if they don't want something, she's going to do it because they're going to vote for her. That's what it's all about. Nothing is being done, as they say, we are the safest city. Yeah, they don't care, period. Absolutely not. But they want to pander for your votes, right? So this is what pisses me off. Join David Tubiolo for Hispanos para Tubiolo fundraiser. Why does he need to have a fundraiser if he has no challenger? Are you going to fundraise and donate that money, David? He has no challenger. He doesn't need to raise money. He's skating into victory like an escapade. Oh, well, no, what do you call those? Forgot those. Why is the guy fundraising when he has no opponent and he is term limited? Exactly. He wants to challenge Gary Pretlow for assembly. Not term limited yet. He has another couple of terms left. He's 12 years for county. So why is David Tubiolo pandering to the Hispanics? But they do absolutely nothing for the majority of Hispanics. And it's time that the Hispanics unite and stop allowing individuals to divide us. We are becoming the majority in this city, and we have the minority of the representation. We have one person, and she has not represented us. She has represented herself, and she overplayed her hand recently, and now she's probably out of politics for good. And Tasha Diaz is not a Latina. She's using her last name, her husband, common law husband's last name, to appeal to Hispanics. But she only represents the white folks and the developers. Do they go around saying his Italians and Irish people are not the same? Because when we talk about white people, we're talking about Irish, we're talking about Italian, we're talking about Polish, we're talking about even Jewish, right? Even though we don't, so they want to be separated, but we don't, right? We don't ever say they don't get along. They're different. In fact, they don't even speak the same languages. Irish and Italians don't speak the same language. Neither do Polish. So why is it that they always speak about the division within the Hispanic community? Oh, Mexicans don't get along with Puerto Ricans. Dominicans don't get along with Puerto Ricans. The South Americans have nothing in common with the Puerto Ricans. Trying to keep us divided because they know that we are the majority. And if we're not, we will be soon. And that presents a major threat. So if you are Latino, Hispanic, you better be part of this team. You better get on the train. Get on the Latino, Hispanic train. Because we're moving, we're growing, and we're coming for what is ours. And this is not to create any kind of division among anyone. I'm just saying they continue to divide us, and I see this. They continue to pander to my community while giving us nothing, largely ignoring us. And I'm tired of that. And it's time that the Latinos stop allowing them to divide us by giving us that bullcrap that Dominicans and Puerto Ricans and Mexicans and Cubans and Guatemalans and whoever that speaks Spanish or comes from a Spanish-speaking country do not get along, have nothing in common. Because the same could be said about the white folks. There's Irish, there's Italian, there's Polish, there's Jewish, there's German. They don't even speak the same language. At least we do. And there's nothing against white people. I'm just saying that you don't hear that about the white group. Why is that? And that's purposeful division that they try to do so that we do not unite and that we do not become strong. Because when we are divided, we are not the majority. Hispanics are the majority, not Puerto Ricans, not Dominicans, not Mexicans, not the South Americans, Hispanics / Latinos. We together are the majority. And it's time that we start to recognize that and stop allowing the division within our community. Otherwise, we're going to be treated like second-class citizens forever. We're still largely impoverished. We still largely have zero representation. We get very little respect. And it's time for that to change. And so reach out to me, Latino leaders who truly represent the Latino community and not their interests or the interests of individuals in power who do not belong to the Latino community. And stop allowing them to divide us as between the cause division between the blacks and the Latinos. The only difference there is that the blacks don't speak Spanish. That's it. We grew up together, side by side, still living impoverished, side by side. The majority of us still sending our kids to the Yonkers public schools all the way through high school because we can't afford to send them off to private school once they reach 9th grade. And so we have an interest that is very similar. All of us do. All the Hispanics, the blacks, we have interests that are very similar. We have the same interests. We want better schools for our kids. We want better communities, safer communities, because it is largely our communities that are flooded with the drugs, that are flooded with the crime, the guns, the gangs. It's our community that where you see that at. You don't see that on Central Avenue. You don't see that in Beechwood or Beach Hill. You don't see that in Crestwood. You don't see it in Colonial Park. You don't see it over there in Lawrence Park West. You see it over in Ludlow Park, in the Riverdale section, Warburton over there. South Broadway Corridor. Nodine Hill. That's where you see the crime, the drugs, the gun violence, the homelessness, the stabbings. And it's been like that for how long now? At least 4 decades for me. And it's time for that to change because, like Fernando Fuentes says, we are still eating crumbs, although we pretty much are damn near the majority. And if we combine ourselves with the blacks, we are the majority. 77% of the student body is black and Hispanic. 75% is impoverished. And although we have a super majority that looks like us, black women, super minority, a super majority that's a super minority, what have we received? What benefits have we seen? How has this improved the black and Hispanic community? It has not. And in fact, the black community has suffered the most. What a shame. What a shame. What a shame. The black community has suffered the most? Absolutely. So the recent closing of Bougie Brews, a black-owned business. Look at Warburton. Black community, northwest Yonkers. Businesses being forced closed, houses being forced to be sold, developments going up, and they don't care if you oppose it. You are not connected. Your skin is not light enough. You're not involved and connected to the Democratic Party here in the city of Yonkers. We don't care about you. You're just another poor minority. And you do it to yourselves. We are still eating crumbs by former Yonkers City Councilman Fernando Fuentes. And I've gone through this. So you can go through this. I have posted it. And he gives a lot of good points. When it comes to city jobs, you don't really see Latinos. City contracts, city development, city housing, city zoning, planning, parking authority, industrial development agency, civil service commission, municipal housing, and so on and so forth. But yet we are damn near the majority. Why is that? If you are Latino, you should have a family member working for the city, or at least you should just have your cousin, your brother, your father, because the probability that a Latino is working for the city should be high considering the high population we have, but it's not. The probability that a mayor, a deputy mayor, the city council members, any other officials appointed or elected, commissioners, board members, and so forth should have a large number of Hispanics, but they don't. They don't even have one. Yet we are damn near the majority. So you see the imbalance there? It's disproportion. And why is that? Because we have zero representation. No one cares about this large group. Only when they want your signature on a petition or they want your vote on election day. And it's time to say our vote means something. Our vote holds weight, and we are going to recognize the value of our vote as the Latino community here in the city of Yonkers. And no longer will we sell it for cheap. We will not be played by the so-called Latino leaders we have now. Like, you need to learn how to play the system like Lorraine Lopez. She became leader of the Hispanic by selling herself to the highest bidder. I didn't say that. Someone else did. Fernando Fuentes is nothing more than a washed-up former elected official. Well, he gave a lot of great points. Still doesn't negate that fact. Turkey whisperer, corn artist, 100%. That's in response to the Lorraine Lopez. Why didn't she help out Spencer? Illegals are building your schools and housing. Go start there. Good luck. Elected officials like you are the problem. The illegals are also a drain on the local tax structure. Their defenders will say that they pay taxes. That might be right, that they pay taxes, but the majority have low-paying jobs, hence they pay very little in taxes, and the cost of services they use far outweigh what they pay in taxes. The political hacks like Spano and his ilks constantly call them asylum seekers when in fact most, if not all, are here for jobs. Plain and simple, look what's going on in New York City, Frisco, and other towns. Complete chaos. And look, what I will say is that a lot of these cities are in despair. People sleeping outside on cardboard, wrapped around buildings. It's crazy. Fernando Fuentes, far too long. Puerto Ricans like you in Yonkers, denigrated all other so look, this is people trying to cause division. Fernando, for far too long, Puerto Ricans like you in Yonkers denigrated all other Hispanics who were not Puerto Ricans. For far too long, Puerto Ricans thought they were the only Hispanic game in Yonkers. This is bullshit. I know that's not true. Don't buy into this nonsense. Okay? Fernando, if you ask someone, say from South America, what you have in common, say with Puerto Ricans, the South American will tell you the only thing I have in common with Puerto Ricans is that I'm a Catholic and I speak Spanish. That's bullshit. We are also poor. We are also sending our kids to Yonkers public schools that need a lot of improvement. We are also underrepresented. We are also discriminated. We are also, unemployed. We're also lacking affordable housing altogether. We have a lot in common. We are living in communities with violence, drugs, homelessness, prostitution, gang violence. Our kids are not safe. So we have a lot in common. And we need to understand that, folks. Latinos, it's time for us to unite because we are going to be the majority in no time, and our vote will hold a lot of weight. And if we organize and we unite and we do it right and we stop the nonsense and we get the sellouts out, don't allow us to dictate, influence, or have any impact on our community, we will see the difference. It's time that we come out to vote, but we must unite. And I'm going to be working on certain individuals on this because this is important to me. It's very important to me that the Hispanic community unite, we organize, and we demand more. Before I go, don't forget tomorrow is National Night Out. Join elected officials along with the Yonkers police for a National Night Out. This happens all over the country from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. The first precinct will be at Central Park Avenue, south of Tuckahoe Road, Andrus Field. Second precinct, Coyne Park, over there, McLean. Third precinct, Sullivan Oval on Bryant Road and Norwood Road. And the fourth precinct over at the JFK Marina on Warburton Avenue, northwest side. Folks, if you have nothing to do there or looking for something to do with the kids, check that out. National Night Out tomorrow from 5 to 9 p.m. Vendors, entertainment, food, and more. And police, I better not see Tasha Diaz trying to utilize you. And I hear that Tasha Diaz purposely takes pictures next to the mayor to give the appearance or the perception that she's with the mayor all the way. So anyone who votes for the mayor will also vote for her and support her. So look at all the pictures. She's always next to the mayor. Always. And there's been times when she's grinded on the mayor, very inappropriate. To the elderly folks out there, anyone looking for a place to cool down, cooling centers will be open. Riverfront and Will Library, Wednesday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., Thursday, 10 to 8, Friday and Saturday, 10 to 5. Crestwood, Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Thursday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Friday, 10 p.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Folks, I'm Freddie Vasquez. Have a beautiful rest of the day. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. They give you nothing because they only need so many of you. Are absolutely right. The few that have sold out, that's all they need. Divide and conquer, 1,000%. Let's get together, folks. Jose Diaz going up against Jose Alvarado. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered, the place where truth lives, corruption dies. Share the page. Let them know about Basement Politics. I know they're talking about it. I keep it honest. I'm for the community. I'm going to give it to you raw, real, unfiltered. May not be your cup of tea, may burn your lips a little bit, but it is the best tea around. I'm Freddie Vasquez. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be blessed. Be well. Take care.
Freddie wins. Here in Jersey.
I was raised in housing.
Where I live, whether I'm moving or not, whether my wife is going to divorce me.
I was raised in housing.
Why does anyone care? Someone just asked the Yonkers voice. Well, anyway, have a blessed day.
Are we? Let's make it happen, guys. Make me happy today.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez. You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
Thank you for watching Basement Politics with my husband. Thank you for watching Basement Politics with my husband, Freddie Vasquez.
Freddie wins.